Warning: the following video contains explicit language which may be offensive to some viewers or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
Marjorie Taylor Greene is here. She would say, hello, Marjorie. She's a warrior. Oh, there she is. Oh, look at her. How beautiful. Oh, thank you, darling. You want to say something?
I would love to.
Come on, say something, Marjorie.
I want to let you all know, and this is something that you know, this is something that I know. President Trump is beating Joe Biden poll after poll after poll. He's up 7 points today. And if he were to run against Kamala Harris, he's up 11 points, which is funny. All right, Georgia, let's get the job done in 24. Let's get President Trump across the line. Let's get him back in the White House for 4 more years.
Are you ready? Hello everybody, it's Jeff. Nice to see everybody. Hope everybody's having a good week. It seems here the rain is trying to let up, but I don't know, it's very, very difficult. We've had two weeks of rain here, and what we get is maybe a day where it starts off cloudy and it ends up sunny, or the other way around. But there's always a looming threat of rain here all the time, and I don't know, people are kind of getting tired of it. You know, we wish we could give this rain to other places in the country that need it more than we do. We got enough. You know, so I don't know. You know, Mother Nature, it's sick. Mother Nature's sick because we made her sick, so, you know, now it's acting up weird. So that's why things are the way they are, you know. So Trump today pled not guilty to his indictment on the Espionage Act, I guess, and no one was surprised about that. It just means he's just daring everybody to prove that he did wrong, which really shouldn't be that hard to accept, since we've seen a lot of things already that they have against him, and a lot of questions that he hasn't answered and avoided to. He's got lawyers in trouble along with himself, and I'm not even sure if there's any lawyers that are willing to want to help him out. I mean, Christ, this guy is eating up lawyers, you know. Jesus. It's unfriggin' believable, you know. He pays them, and then, you know, they work, and then he throws them under the bus. You know, it's like, you know, this guy he's the way he does business. It's not a wonder he went bankrupt so many fucking times. You know, he doesn't have a head for business, and he doesn't have a head for anything, really. If you think about it, everything he's done, he's failed at. You know, and of course his failure as president has got us all, you know, in trouble, and it cost a lot of lives in this country. I mean, he can't get away with that. You know, he has to answer for some of the things that he did. And this espionage, you know, thing where he took records out of the White House and all that, he can't just walk away from that unscathed. He's got to answer for that. He does. And so I just think that it's long past time that, you know, he answers for that. You know, when you look at the cases of Aldrich Ames, Richard Hansen, you know, the spies that we had there that were making money off of selling secrets to the Russians and shit. When you take a look at that and you see what became of them, there was no delay in the trial, and justice was given fairly, and the whole country was behind them answering for what they did wrong. In this case with Trump, you got 30% of the country that's saying Trump has every right to break the law, and the other half that says we have to have justice in this country so that way people will stop thinking that the president is above the law. These rules are not just written for us, the regular people. They're written for the politicians too. And so if we don't stand by that and we let Trump go because the right wing wants him to, okay, then we've just basically shot democracy right in the ass. Okay, we really have. You know, and that's really what we're trying to do here, I think, as far as the Democrats are concerned. Whether or not Trump gets, you know, the correct punishment for what he did, okay, it still has to be shown that he's going to answer for it in some fashion. I don't know how severe the punishment will be, if at all. It would be nice to think that he'd get some prison time, but, you know, I don't know. In Trump world, I don't know. And so the Trump people that are out there complaining right now, I don't think they got much to complain about. I mean, they can, you know, cry a river of tears over the fact that the Justice Department's going after him, doing their job, basically. And they're talking about, we need to defund that, you know. We need to defund everything they want. They don't like. They want to take all the money away from, okay? That's all they want to do. And so I'm like, you know, well, Christ, if you shut everything down, then there ain't going to be a government. There ain't going to be a democracy. There ain't going to be a communist government. There ain't going to be nothing because everything is no longer funded. You know, but we can't just let that slip. I mean, you know, if we went after two people who were in the FBI, get away with espionage, then the president getting away with it is only going to cement the fact that certain people are above the law, and the laws don't mean nothing. And then that's only going to encourage people to, you know, create more problems in the system than we should have, you know. And I think that if we don't put our foot down on this, then, you know, we might as well just forget about trying to protect Trump at all, because you're basically saying that he's free to do what he wants. You know, he's Donald Trump. If he wants to break the law, then we should let him. You know, that's what Republicans are, that's what they're telling us, and that's what they want everybody else to believe. So this is very important. I mean, if Trump was a Democrat, you know damn well the Republicans would be after him. He'd probably already be sitting in prison right now. Okay, so let's just show them that right now, that there's a double standard in play here. Okay, they're still going after or bringing up issues about Hillary Clinton's emails and Joe Biden's son. Okay, and it just seems like, you know, if you guys are going to keep going after people like that because you say, well, they broke laws, okay, and you get mad at us for going after Trump because he broke laws, then, you know, you guys have a double standard to play. Why should we listen to you? Why should we care about what you think about all this? Because you're not even sure about where your footing is on anything. You know, I mean, I can't imagine that none of these Trump supporters are kind of frustrated with the fact that Democrats keep finding things about him that they can charge him with, because these are not just ludicrous crimes, you know, like, oh, having a laptop with some stuff in there, you know what I'm saying? It's not shit like that. What Trump has done is he's damaged our whole country with the things that he's done. Okay, that's got to have repercussions. You can't ignore that, no matter who the person is who's president or was president. Okay, you got to have repercussions for that. And, you know, for people out there who want to defend him, fine. You want to defend that, then you're just basically showing us who you are. Okay, you're not even American. You might as well just take the next plane to Russia and stay there, because that's basically what Russians over there do. When their leadership does corrupt things, they just turn their back on it and let it happen. Okay, you guys want to do that here? Well, you've already indoctrinated yourself into communism. You're going around telling people you're afraid that our country is going to become communist because of Joe Biden. Okay, but yet you're the first people out there who are already trying to live that way by picking somebody who is basically a lover of communism because he's in bed with fucking Putin and China. Okay, he's got help from them. You guys are already in love with the idea of a communist country. So who do you think we should be afraid of here? The Democrats or you? You know? Okay, so there's an article here from Reuters written by Sarah Lynch, and it's entitled "Speedy Trial Promised by Special Counsel in Trump Case May Not Go So Fast." No surprise here, huh? U.S. Special Counsel Jack Smith has said former President Donald Trump will have a, quote, speedy trial, unquote, in Miami on a 37-count indictment charging him with willfully retaining classified government records and obstructing justice. But the complexities of handling highly classified evidence, the degree to which Trump's legal team challenges the government's pretrial motions, and the way the judge manages the schedule could all lead to a trial that is anything but swift, legal experts say. Quote, "In every case that I have had involving classified information, we never had a speedy trial," unquote, said Stephanie Siegman, a former chief of the National Security Unit of the United States Attorney's Office in Boston, who noted that the evidence-sharing process with Trump's defense team, known as Discovery, could potentially take a year. Quote, "This case will be designated complex because it involves classified information," unquote, added Siegman, now a partner with the law firm Hinckley Allen. The U.S. Constitution guarantees criminal defendants the right to a speedy trial, and defendants in federal cases are allowed to have a trial start as soon as 70 days from the time they are indicted. But in most criminal cases, both sides can agree to pause that clock in order to give them more time to prepare. Delays could be troublesome for Trump, who is currently the Republican frontrunner for the 2024 presidential election and may not wish to have the trial looming as the elections approach. At the same time, his lawyers may want to delay the process for legal or political reasons by lodging objections each step of the way, a tactic he has used in the past. Smith's pledge for a speedy trial makes sense because he doesn't want to interfere with the election process, and defense attorney Mark Zaid, quote, "But that was just wishful thinking. The reality is the Trump team will be controlling much of the timing of the litigation," unquote. A spokesman for Smith's office declined to comment beyond his public statements, while an attorney for Trump did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Espionage Act cases, like Trump's cases, are especially complex because some of the key evidence presented during a public trial is classified. As such, prosecutors need to balance two seemingly competing forces: the need to protect the nation's closely held secrets while still ensuring that Trump is afforded due process by having access to the evidence to help him prepare a defense. Many other Espionage Act cases have hinged on a few classified records or even just one document, such as in Boston, where a National Guardsman stands accused of leaking military secrets. Trump, by contrast, is facing charges over 31 top secret or secret documents, a far greater number. After Trump enters his plea, both parties and the court will need to follow a strict and meticulous set of rules set forth in a law known as the Classified Information Procedures Act to protect the classified records and manage how they can be disclosed. Quote, "CIPA has so many different steps that each one, just by virtue of the fact it's a step, takes an uncertain amount of time," unquote, said attorney Kel McClellan. These CIPA procedures will require Trump's defense team to obtain security clearances in order to view classified materials. Deciding how classified evidence is shared, both to the defense team and to the jury, can get contentious and may lead to legal battles that will play out largely behind the scenes under seal. At times, some of those hearings, by law, must be conducted ex parte, meaning Trump's own lawyers can't be present. Moreover, in Espionage Act cases, decisions on pretrial motions related to classified evidence can be appealed, an extra step that is not usually allowed in most routine criminal cases. If, for example, prosecutors seek to shield records that reveal battle plans or nuclear weapons secrets, Trump's team could agree it should be protected, or they could fight to make it public. Quote, some defense teams would agree that that information has to be protected, unquote, said David Aaron, a veteran former Justice Department prosecutor now with Perkins Coie. Quote, but a defense team has every right to contest the idea of even protecting that at trial. They could go ahead and challenge every single argument the government makes, unquote. So here you see what's going on. I mean, this, we're talking about crimes concerning classified data, but it has to be protected. They can't put cameras in the courtroom, basically, where this information is going to be discussed, obviously, because it's classified. So that means we're not going to know what the hell's going on behind closed doors. I don't even know how much the press is going to be able to discuss as it goes on in the first place, because some of the evidence is going to be, deemed you can't speak of it outside the doors of this room here, basically. So I don't know if we're ever going to know the things that he stole and what he had. I mean, they're talking about, 31 charges, and he took out boxes and boxes of stuff in there, okay? So they're just taking a very small percentage of what he stole and charged him on that. But what about the rest of it? They're not really saying anything much about that. And the fact that the public's not really going to know what's going to happen in the trial, is troublesome to me, because I think, like I said, the Republic needs to see that democracy still functions even if the criminal is the president. And of course, the third thing is the fact that they can drag this thing out way beyond the 2024 election if they choose to do so, depending on the judge. So I don't know. I mean, it was one thing to get an indictment. It's going to be a whole other thing to get the trial going. You see what I'm saying? So we jumped that hurdle about getting him indicted, arrested, and the next hurdle is going to be when and how long are we going to have to wait, and how much are we going to know about the whole trial? Because to me, a lot of people are going to think that, oh, well, he's going to get away with it because he's going to just drag this out, and he's going to find favors, get favors from people that he pays off or something, and he'll get away with it. That may be how it all shakes down. I don't know. But the fact is that, if we drag this out, the longer they drag this out, and if the public sees he's still running for president, they're already going to put in their mind that he got away with it. Whether they do this trial, just before the election or after the election, the longer it takes them to get the trial going, the more people are going to think that Trump's already beat the system, okay? Because we're not hearing anything about a court date or anything like that. Also, if the press keeps talking about it, they're just going to wear everybody down to the point where no one's going to care, okay? And when they have the trial, it's going to happen like, oh, they had the trial already? I didn't even know that. It's going to be like that because we're not going to know. And when they find him guilty, people are going to say, guilty of what? Because we weren't in on it. We didn't hear what was taken and what was stolen. We didn't hear that. So it leaves the friggin' narrative wide open to the public to interpret anything that they want in this, and allows rumor to go rampant. The court of public opinion is going to go fucking space happy, okay, in this country, because nobody's going to know exactly what's happening behind the closed doors of the court system, and it's going to happen so fast that, you know, people aren't even going to know what the hell happened, you know. So I just feel like it's wrong that this is the way that it looks like they're going to go with it. It's like, you know, how do you say it? Waiting till the fire's over before, you know, you start crying, oh, we need to get the fire trucks out, you know, because then people are going to say, whoa, you know, where's the fire, you know? So, you know, I think that's a mistake. And if the Democrats can't get that trial started ASAP, then, you know, all their efforts here of getting trial, indicted, arrested, and having to answer for these things is going to be fruitless, because the public's going to be already moved on from this. You know, months and months from now, they're going to be focused on the election. Trump is not going to, you know, make any bones about it to the people, because he won't be allowed to speak of it, you know, if there's anything, you know, classified there. And he's going to continue with his narrative that, oh, it's a witch hunt, they're after me. And people are just going to believe that. And when they finally have the trial date or something like that set, who knows when that'll be? It'll be probably after the election. People are just going to say, are we at this shit again? Because they're going to think that it was already settled. You see what I'm saying? There's no good side, there's no good outcome for delaying an important trial like this about the president. It has to happen, okay, soon. It can't be delayed. A delay could mean them winning or losing that case. You know, you think you're going to be able to get a jury to be able to indict him? All it takes is one fucking juror to hang up that jury. Hung jury. You know, that's all it's going to take. I mean, should they even have a jury trial since this information is so classified? I mean, how do you pick a jury for a case like that? You know? I don't know. There's a lot there to wonder about with this, now that we've done what we've done here. I don't know what to say. Let's go to a commercial break.
This is me.
This is me.
This is me.
I'm Alex Curtis. I'm a lobsterman in Maine, and this is me.
I'm Ruth McLaughlin, and this is me.
I'm Eric Hopkins. I'm an artist, and this is me.
This is me.
Me.
This is me.
This is me.
This is me.
At the end of the journey, the main thing is you, original.
Some people have a deep, abiding respect for the natural beauty that was once this country. And some people don't. People start pollution. People can stop it. Write for Pollution Booklet, Box 1771, Radio City Station, New York.
I don't care, man. Dude, you are the worst human being known to mankind. I want you to know that what you have done to this state, to the United States, to everything else in this world. I don't care that your daughter's here. What you've done to people's families, what you have done to everybody else in this world. Son. Don't call me son for one.
Be a part of the entertainment value of a lifetime.
I loved it.
It was the best performance I've seen in a lifetime.
I loved the show. I liked it very much. He's a very entertaining man. It's well worth the money.
Now appearing in Charlottetown, coming to Halifax November 6th to the 18th, and St. John November 20th through the 26th.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. Okay, so there's another story here that kind of on the back pages of things going on. This is from the AP, written by Farnoosh Amiri and Lindsay Whitehurst, entitled House Passes Resolution to Overturn New Federal Gun Regulations, Biden Vows to Veto. House Republicans passed a resolution that would repeal a Biden administration rule tightening federal regulations on stabilizing braces for firearms, an accessory that has been used in several mass shootings in the U.S. over the last decade. The resolution passed 219 to 210, nearly on party lines, and after a contentious floor debate where Republicans accused the administration of, quote, executive overreach, unquote, and Democrats condemned a bill they said would, quote, help kill people, unquote. 2 Democrats voted in support, and 2 Republicans voted against it. The resolution, which was introduced by Representative Andrew Clyde, Republican from Georgia, will now go to the Senate, which could take up the measure as soon as this week. Should it pass, President Biden has promised a veto. Overriding a presidential veto would require 2/3 majorities in the House and the Senate. The new rule issued by the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives in January treats guns with the accessories like short-barreled rifle, a weapon that is like a sawed-off shotgun and has been heavily regulated since the 1930s. The regulation, which went into effect June 1st, was one of several steps Biden announced in 2021 after a man using a stabilizing brace killed 10 people at a grocery store in Boulder, Colorado. A stabilizing brace was also used in a shooting in Dayton, Ohio that left 9 people dead in 2019, and most recently in a school shooting in Nashville, Tennessee. Stabilizing braces transform a pistol into a weapon that's powerful and easy to conceal, Attorney General Merrick Garland said when he announced the rule. Originally developed for disabled veterans, gun control groups have said the accessories have become a loophole exploited by gun makers to make weapons more deadly. Since taking effect earlier this month, The rule requires anyone who has a gun with an arm stabilizing brace to register the weapon with the federal government and pay a fee, or remove the brace from their weapons. Republicans employed the Congressional Review Act, which allows Congress to undo recently enacted executive branch regulations to try and nullify the new rule that they claim has turned millions of gun owners into felons. Quote, this rule doesn't just infringe upon American Second Amendment liberties, it represents a dangerous government overreach by the administration, unquote, Clyde said during debate Tuesday. Congress, quote, Congress maintains sole legislative authority, not government agencies, not the executive branch, unquote. Several lawsuits have been filed against the regulations by gun owners and state attorneys general. They say it violates Second Amendment protections by requiring millions of people to alter or register their weapons. In some cases, judges have recently agreed to temporarily block enforcement of the rule for the plaintiffs in a setback for the Biden administration. House Democrats defended the rule on Tuesday, saying it could save lives. Quote, how many more mass shootings need to happen? How many more kids need to die before my Republican colleagues pull their heads out of the sand and realize that the NRA money is not worth the damage that's been done to our country, said Representative Jim McGovern, Democrat from Massachusetts. The main sponsor for the measure, Clyde, is a member of the ultra-conservative House Freedom Caucuses and the owner of a gun store in his district in Georgia. His proposal to overturn the ATF rule first came to the House Judiciary Committee in late March for markup, but House Republicans postponed debate of the measure after a gunman used a weapon with a stabilizing brace to fatally shoot 3 children and 3 adults at an elementary school in Nashville, Tennessee. Last week, Clyde claimed GOP leadership had blocked his resolution from reaching the floor as retribution for his no vote on a bipartisan agreement to lift the debt ceiling, which leaders denied. House Majority Leader Steve Scalise said he and Representative Tom Emmer, the GOP's chief vote counter, had been working intensely to ensure enough support to pass the legislation in the narrowly divided House. Quote, we've been moving people every week on this bill, unquote, Scalise said. Quote, it has not been easy, unquote. So, here we go again with the Republicans in their misguided way and way of thinking, are trying to make it easier for people to continue to kill folks in this country. Okay? Biden tried to do something, and the Republicans, for some reason, think that every time somebody tries to change what's going on in this country by trying to scale back the fucking gun crimes, when somebody tries to do that, they actually think they're going to make it worse. Okay, that's what Republicans think. Okay, and the thing is that the constant argument that they use in every one of these debates is that, well, if everybody was armed, then people could take care of themselves. Well, as you can see in our country and the mentality that goes on in this country, if everyone was armed, people would be settling the smallest disagreement or the smallest problem with firearms. Because people, look how they behave around the cops. A cop pulls somebody over and it gets violent right off because people feel like they're being singled out, that they're being targeted. Okay, because people have this paranoia about police officers and stuff like that. Now let's put that situation in just regular society. Okay, where you got people out there living day-to-day lives. Okay, and one day they just wake up out of bed with a hair up their ass, and somebody looks at them wrong, and then all of a sudden there's blood on the ground. That's how people are going to use the gun, not to protect life and family and property. Okay, like the Republicans have this, this picturamic, view of way people are going to handle guns. No, it's going to go completely the other way. You're going to have a situation where people are just going to be shooting everybody. Shooting each other over trivial things. And a lot of times that's what's happening now with kids going into school and shooting kids. We ask, why did you do that? Why did you go to the school and kill all those kids? And the answer is like something stupid that, kids decades ago would handle on their own without any fucking violence at all. But Today, the gun is the answer to everything now. And if you give them more guns, guess what happens? It becomes easier to kill. It becomes an easier thing to pick up the gun and kill. Okay? And you're going to have more people in prison. And the prisons are already overloaded. We're going to be building more fucking prisons to put people in. You're going to encage more American people. So let me, you know, what was it that it was said in the Bible? Those who take up the sword will perish by the sword. That was said way back before there was even guns. And that makes just as much sense then as it does today. Okay? Everybody that picks up the gun is going to end up dead by the gun. Okay? Everybody. So, what's solved? What's solved with a heavily armed public? Okay? You can't stop somebody getting killed by something. Okay? You know, and this started with like one person shooting somebody with a gun. Okay? And then right off the bat, well, if that other person was armed, then they could have done something. You know, forgetting the fact that that person probably was not even prepared to be faced with a guy with a gun. Okay? Why would that individual be carrying it? Okay? But no, not only do they want these people carrying the gun, they want them to be able to tell when somebody is going to be able to shoot you. Okay? So we have to live in paranoia as well. Because if you just shoot somebody because, well, he looked at me wrong, I thought he was going to shoot me. You think that's going to fly in court for a defense? You'd have to change the laws in order for that to be allowed to happen, to be exonerated of murder because you felt like that guy was going to do something or that woman was going to do something to you. You see what I'm saying? In order to continue people's ability to carry that gun, you're going to have to lessen the severity of the laws of how we treat each other in society. Okay? For people who walk around with guns, you can't make it so easy to prosecute people because then they'll go around saying, well, you're denying me my right to protect myself from other people who could harm me. So then what happens? The laws have to be tailored, right, to fit the fact that everybody's armed. So then the punishments become less severe if you commit a murder. Hence, you open the door even more to invite more murder in society because it becomes easier. People start to say, well, I can do the 5 years for a murder, so I'll just shoot the fucker, you know? And because the prisons are full, the sentences will be lighter because there's so many people in prison for the same goddamn crime. You know, you see what I'm saying? They don't think. When they look at this Pandora's box, okay, they're not seeing what's coming out of it by arming our society. They're not seeing what's potentially going to come out of that. Just like we rushed into creating the internet, and it wasn't until a decade after where we look back and we say, Jesus, you know, we should have thought of this, we should have thought of that. You know, look at the fucking shit we made. You know, there's a lot of people out there that think that we never should have had the internet because our society wasn't ready for that yet. Okay? Well, the same is about the guns. We're still not ready for an armed society because we're not mature enough mentally to be able to deal with a well-armed society. Okay? You might as well hand us all fucking bazookas because that's just about the mentality that people are going to have with a gun. You know? Your homes are going to have to be covered with a bulletproof wall to prevent drive-by killings. You know? You think you can afford to have that done for your house? A house with no windows or something? Because the glass, you know, it's too expensive, the bulletproof glass. People, think about that. Think about what would happen. You can't trust everybody with a gun, even if you think they're good. The good people in this day and age are under a tremendous amount of pressure, financially, you know, in the workplace, in school. People have bad days. Sometimes they get physical. They get into fights with people, like barroom brawls and shit. Now imagine that barroom brawl with everybody with guns. You might as well call a hearse, because every damn person in that bar is going to be dead before it's all said and done. Is that what you want? Okay? Is that what you want? You know, it's very easy for people to reach for that thing. And people will use every excuse that sounds childish in order to justify having to kill somebody. You know, like this old lady down in, I think it was in Florida here last week. She was having a fight with a neighbor across the road from her house. The neighbor's kids were fighting or something like that, and the old lady was screaming at them to, you know, to quiet down or something or whatever. And the mother comes out and she starts yelling at the old lady to stop screaming at the kids and stop threatening them and stuff like that. And the old lady was, you know, it was just one of them kind of things, one of those kind of days where, you know, you got somebody that's pissed off about the noise. Well, the lady goes back into her home, the old lady, and the woman follows her to her house, and she knocks on the door and gets blasted through the door by a shotgun from the old lady who was on the inside of the house. She didn't wait for the lady to come in, okay? She heard her knock and she shot her through the door. Now, she gets arrested and she says that, well, I felt threatened because she was knocking very hard on the door and I thought she was going to do something to me. Well, guess what? Stand your ground laws in Florida isn't really going to apply there because, A, she wasn't in any danger because the door was shut, okay? And she had a gun and she knew the other lady didn't. So how could she feel threatened when she, you know, had all the defenses there? You know, and since the lady didn't threaten her in any way, okay, she's got no grounds there to say that the woman was intending to do harm to her. And so, and there was a whole bunch of witnesses because, you know, neighborhoods like that, you know, there's always looky-loos everywhere when fights happen. So the thing is that in Florida, that's the kind of shit you get. People feeling threatened, you know, or they don't get their way, and so they get revenge or something like that. That's what guns in everybody's hands is going to look like if we allow that to happen all over this country. All right, and so the Republicans, you know, in their misguided fashion, because they love that NRA money, were pissed off when Biden issued that executive order, you know, for those stabilizers. Okay, that was just a minor step for gun control, okay? Not even anything to consider to be threatening to the Second Amendment, as they understand it, okay? Very issue, but no, they can't have it. They have to have total freedom, and it has to be unregulated. That's what they want. They want people to just have that gun on them like you're in the Old West, and nobody has any right to say, you got to take that off. No, you get to carry that everywhere you want. That's what Republicans want. That's what the NRA wants, because they want people to keep buying that shit. They want them to keep buying these guns, buying these fucking things. So that way, you know, people are stockpiling with that crap all over their house. And believe me, there are homes in this country that have a basement filled with fucking rifles and guns of all kinds, shapes, and sizes, people. Okay, they're out there. Believe me, they're out there. And the fact that, you know, we still have gun shows where people want to buy guns is laughable, because you could probably get a gun without having to go through any fucking security at all, just by knowing who's somebody that has a whole shitload of them. And it's done under the sight of the police and all the, you know, the regulations. It, you know, happens all the time. Happens all the time. We only single out the gun shows because it's open, you know, it's not hidden from the public, okay? But there's so many more sales that are done, that are hidden from the public eye, that, you know, they can't possibly enforce these regulations everywhere. They can't. So the problem remains, and the problem is the idea that people have to be well armed, and that's where the problem lies. If people are in that mindset from the day they get the gun, okay, then you've already kind of lost, because now they're going to feel like that's owed to them. You know, now that they have the gun, we're owed this gun. We need to have it. You're not taking it away from me. I paid for it, you know. It'd be like if the government wanted to take everybody's cars away from them. I mean, you wouldn't want to have that done, wouldn't you? You know, you'd fight and bitch and complain, saying, no, that's I got to get to work. That's how they feel about the gun. To them, that is more important to them than that fucking car. You try to take that gun away from them after the money they spent to buy it, and the you know, you're gonna have a hell of a time. They're going to throw their money in with the NRA and stuff like that, so that way that doesn't happen. Okay? It doesn't matter to them that kids are being killed. Fuck that to them. They don't care. That's not their problem. You know, the cost of having that gun is worth all the children in this country, as far as they're concerned. Let the streets run red with blood. As long as I got my fucking AK-47, you know, and my Egyptian sniper rifle, I don't care. I don't care what it costs. You know, my gun is for me. I want that. It's selfishness. It's the worst thing that could happen in a society is people becoming selfish. People not caring about what happens to other people. That's what destroys governments right there. When it rots like that from the inside, you know, how are you going to get anybody in that kind of society to actually do good in the government? Okay, if everybody's thinking selfishly. Donald Trump is the perfect example of selfishness. Okay? He got into president. He was the perfect representative of our society today. He really was. We get the president we deserve. And that's what we got. We got Donald Trump, and he actually reflects the kind of people we are in this country. We are very selfish. We're greedy as hell. Okay? We'll step on somebody else's neck to get above them. Okay? And if we have something we don't want you to have, I don't care if it kills you. I'm keeping it. You see? We're of that mentality. We're not the society that we should be in America, and that's sad because the people who wrote the documents out for America actually had a better attitude about other people than we do today. They did care about each other, you know, and they did care about protecting our lands. They did care about, you know, our country being something of a model of integrity and a place of peace for the rest of the world to come to. But, you know, as time went on, we got selfish, and selfishness creates a whole other reality. You know, this country's ours, you can't be here. So we don't want any Mexicans coming into this country. You know. So anyway, that's it for today. And I hope everybody has a great rest of the week. So keep your ears open to any local COVID news out there, and subscribe and comment. I'd like to hear from you. And if you're out there with people and stuff, treat each other nice. Okay, we can't do that enough in this world. And I know it's probably going to be more difficult with the kind of people that are out there today, but you know, I like to think that it, like karma, it does come back to you. Whether you do something good or something bad. So why take the chance in having some bad thing come after you? So anyway, take care everybody. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.